I'm just hitting all the wrong buttons. It's fine.
I see. Hello,
I
hello,
meant
party people.
to Yeah, I meant to unmute us, and instead of unmuting myself, I turned my thing off. I woke up an hour ago, so
Mm. Yeah, it's been a day of rest and relaxation post party for me because I had a housewarming party yesterday, and I have been curled up in bed watching Ted Lasso because, as I was telling Sam before stream, my dad figured out that he can share his like Apple subscription to the rest of the family, and so out of the blue, I got a text that I now had access to his Apple TV, and I was like, oh hell yeah! And then I was like on the phone with him shortly afterwards, and was like, thank you for doing that, by the way, and he was like, I will take it back from you if you do not watch all of Ted Lasso. And I was sitting there like, the thing is that like I already knew he loves this show, and it's a thing of like frequently when I've like gone over to his place, he'll like be in the middle of an episode, like showing it to like my uncle or just like having it on, and so like I've seen little bits and pieces of it. I actually realized I've watched most of the latter half of the first season, but and I was already planning to watch it. It's just that I take forever to get around to watching TV, especially in the past like year or so. I haven't been much of a TV person, but
hmm
but yeah, considering the impending threat and the fact that I was in bed, I was like, might as well. But, but
I
yeah.
have a void. I have a voidling who has
Oh, can we?
taken over.
Now my little the bun buns are currently hiding. If I slide over here, then you'll be able to see them when they exit the enclosure. But right now they're both eating.
Hey, CB. Hey, RP. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. My dad loves. He's just been on a streak lately of being as menacing as he possibly can with his love. Because yesterday I had a housewarming party. Because I had finally settled in. Now my house is thoroughly warmed. It was a great time. A lot of friends. A lot of food. And the thing is that my dad messaged me. Well, first he tried to call me in the middle of the party, but my phone was the one hooked up to the Bluetooth for the playlist, so I like texted him back, and he was like, "Just checking in on how you're doing." And I was like, "Oh yeah, party's going great." And then he texted me a bit later, going, "What's your address again?" And I sent it to him. And the thing is that my dad frequently makes jokes about like if he's coming to like pick us up or drop stuff off, he's like, oh, I'm the dad Uber, haha. And
Yeah.
so he starts saying that he's sending an Uber to me, and I'm like, you mean a dad Uber? Haha. No, he Uber delivered food to my house. And the thing is that he didn't tell me, like, he sent me the link so I could see that it was coming, but he didn't say where it was from. And he kept just sending me an ominous countdown of like 9 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, to the point where I'm like, and the thing is too is that like I had I had made the theme because I always do little like it was a potluck and I made the theme bring the heat, and so I was making
hmm
little grilled like Greek grilled cheeses, but I didn't get a hold of the specific cheese that you use for that, and my dad knew this, and I was like, watch, he's gonna be upset and send me like drive over some of the cheese and drop it off at my place, right? Because it's not too far of a drive for him. No, instead, what he did was he Uber Eats an obscene amount of Greek sweets, including two variations of cheesecake that I hadn't tried before, one of which is made with my favorite Greek cookie. So, of course, I immediately claimed one of those pieces. I
Oh yeah,
clocked
of
it and I
course.
was like, this is mine. I still have half of it, actually. I might eat it while we're on stream. But. But yeah, no, and yeah, he completely stole the show. And thankfully, no one else had really brought dessert. Like one friend brought fruits, but it really rounded out the potluck too. But
Nice.
yeah, it was just I was like flitting around the party like with the countdown, being like, oh no, what is it? What do I do? And the thing is, too, I didn't realize because with it being like housewarming and bring the heat, there was a little thing in my invitation, like template of like what to wear, and I was like your hottest outfit, and so I did nearly the whole like wearing a blazer without anything underneath, but I wore like a cute
hmm
bralette underneath. But then I
Yeah.
very quickly abandoned the blazer because it was too warm in my place with everyone there.
Yeah.
And I realized we took pictures, like the group of us, with the Greek sweets to send to my dad as a thank you. I was just wearing a bra. I didn't have the blazer on, and I didn't realize until like hours later, and I was like, my dad's never seen me in that state of undress. It was a pretty scandalous bralette. Like it was showing quite a bit, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't even realize until hours later that my friends were chuckling at me because they were like, "You just realized this now?" And I was like, "Yeah." but uh, but yeah, no, it was a fun time. But yeah, we had D&D right beforehand too, so it was quite the day.
Sounds like it was a great
But
day.
yeah, yeah, it was a lot of so much food. Oh my god. but
How long are you gonna stay here? Are you just gonna stay here the full 3 hours?
It's so cute. Hopefully, maybe not.
You're
Oh wait,
lucky that my reading is currently on a website, so you can stay here.
there's Luna. Right. She's pouting for some reason. But
Chris had the
yeah.
weekend off, so
Oh hell
um,
yeah.
I don't remember what we did Friday, but yesterday, oh Friday we finished our D&D character, which was funny because Chris and I we were both like we need to do our D&D characters, and then we like finished them within 15 minutes, and we're like, okay, got that done. Um, Thankfully because D&D Beyond, when you buy like the beginner's kit and stuff, you can just click it and it adds all the things to your inventory, and I was like, fuck yeah, that's usually what takes me the longest. So, and then Saturday we had our first session, which was great because since Chris is playing a water genasi, when we were all on the boat to go to the island, and this Marrow showed up demanding like a tithe, Chris rolled a nat because like my character was like, "Hey, it's a water person. You're a water person. Maybe you two can like hash this out." And Chris went over and he rolled a nat 20 for persuasion, but he told it. He's like, "You see that guy over there? That's my son. So like, could you make this a little easier?" And the Morrow was like, "I too had a son once." And so like we bonded, and everyone else on the ship is like, "What the fuck is going on?" And like Matt rolled a high enough perception that he was pretty sure those are his parents. No, actually, on the boat he didn't. He like, well, he had a feeling, but he wasn't sure. And then when we went to shore, Chris and my character, we were gonna run off in the woods so we could like follow without being seen. Um, but Matt's character yelled "mom," and so mine immediately turned around, went to her child to make sure everything was okay. And then we were attacked by skeletons. And Cody's character has been like he and Matt's character have been talking to each other on and off, but he took out one of the undead sailors like in one round with his radiant damage and stuff, and that was cool. Uh, Sorry, I'm trying to think. It was hilarious listening to Chris and Matt's character go back and forth about how Matt is like no his character knows that we are Travis. He knows that we are here because we're following him, and he had left us a note telling us where he was going. Where, and our characters are feigning ignorance. We're like, what? No, I mean, you left us a note, yes, but we decided to take a couples retreat, and this is where we decided to go. And oh, sorry, my oldest is sending me things. Yeah, but we continued on anyway. He and oh, I forgot. It's Soren, I think, is Cody's character. They went to excuse me. They went to investigate things, and uh, Chris's character basically is still dadding. Okay, yeah, you can do your gamer time now.
Just want to think my other question, but
Oh, you can keep cleaning if you want. Don't let me stop you. But where did my brain go? Oh, Chris's character Homar was like shadowing and asking questions about the quest and stuff, like what do they have to deal with. And Matt's character's like, I was gonna ask those questions, Dad. And my character went around and kind of like gathered information just in general about the Isle and stuff since they were attacked. But we're having a lot of fun with it. I have a migraine, which is why I'm like this right now. So it doesn't sound as fun and exciting, but it was a great time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It was I think one of my favorite parts though is when we were wrapping up for the night and like the entire day Travis has been trying to convince his parents to just leave and everything. Well, we go to sleeping quarters and it's one big room for the four of us. But there's like four hammocks separately. Mine and Chris's characters are both like outdoorsy farm people. And so we were like, we're gonna go sleep under the stars so that we could just put out our two bedrolls and still sleep together. And Travis is like, you guys don't have to leave and all this. And we're like, Travis, let us go sleep together. You'll be fine in here. So that was just that was one of the funny parts for me.
Yeah.
My brain like rebooted. Oh, I also finished the entirety of the Full Metal Alchemist manga.
Oh, hell yeah.
I started watching Brotherhood because I've never actually seen FMA or Brotherhood in order. Um, like I'm 90% confident I've seen all of the original Full Metal Alchemist, just not in order. And
Uh,
I've seen bits and pieces of Brotherhood. Uh, See, I knew that like when Brotherhood came out, it was like the anime community that the anime communities that I was exposed to, they were like, "Oh, it's so much better because it's cooler and darker and edgier." And I'm like, I don't know about that. I like the original just fine. uh, and then they were like, "Oh, and it sticks to the manga so much closer and all that." And then I watched the first episode of Brotherhood, and I'm like, the manga doesn't have an ice guy. What? So what from my understanding, and it makes a lot of sense, is that Full Metal Alchemist, because the original anime had stuck so closely to the manga until it caught up to the manga, Brotherhood if they would have like stayed true, they basically would have just been remaking the, I
Mm-hmm.
think, first so many episodes of the original. So they like did their own way to essentially summarize and catch everyone up on the plot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh well, I was impressed with the skill of which they executed it, and
Mm-hmm.
simultaneously salty and angry at the past anime communities because it was a common thing back in the day where they would make an anime and it would catch up to the manga, and then they would either like make their own plot to finish off the anime, or they would make filler episodes until the manga kept going, or there was just like different ways for them to do it, right? And then but what some of them did, if the anime was popular enough, like Blue Exorcist, Hellsing, and Full Metal Alchemist are three off the top of my head that did it. They would make a new series that was more manga accurate, or would finish off the manga. The way Blue Exorcist did it was they were basically like, yeah, we're just gonna pick up where the anime like stopped being manga accurate. So like if you watch the first, I think, 13 episodes of the original manga, and then you watch the second Blue Exorcist series, it follows the manga plotline. Um, but whenever something like that would happen, anime fans would be like, "Oh, the new one's so much better because it like sticks to the manga and it doesn't do this and it doesn't do that." And I'm like, "Can we not just appreciate both series for what they have done?" Because
Mm-hmm.
like I liked the original Full Metal. Their explanation for why the homunculi exist is really interesting to me, and that like people, they were failed resurrection attempts. So the homunculus took on the look of whoever they had tried to resurrect, but it wasn't them, and so it was like a psychologically fucked up way to hold alchemists accountable for doing the taboo and all of that. So I was like, I think that's really interesting. The original explanation and the one they use in Brotherhood of this otherworldly being creating homunculi as alchemic servants is, I suppose, closer to the actual definition of what a homunculi is.
Mm.
But and it's also interesting in its own thing. I like both, and I think they are both good.
Mm-hmm.
And I will probably rewatch the original Full Metal as well. However, Netflix only has Brotherhood, and I did not want to go see if it was on Crunchyroll. Getting to
Mm.
like my remote has a Netflix button, which just takes me to Netflix. Whereas with Crunchyroll, I have this. It's a lot to get to my Crunchyroll account. A
I
lot
never
of times, I
actually
just
used
watch
those
it on my
buttons.
laptop because it's so much easier. Oh,
I do
I do.
currently have
I abuse the fuck out of that.
I do have Crunchyroll at the moment, just temporarily, because me and my roommates are watching Panty and Stalking together, um,
Oh, that's
which has
such
been
a
a lot of
great
fun.
anime.
I think you're on a lag or something, Sam, or maybe it's just the migraines, because like there's a significant delay in which you're responding to me to the point where I'm questioning our connection.
It's
But
probably the connection, not the migraine.
uh,
Um,
but yeah, no,
we're
it's a fun
thinking of
one.
getting the wife router.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a fun one. It is disgusting though, and it's a thing of like of the three of us who are watching it, to like me and one of the roommates have seen it, and the other one it's completely new to them. It's very fun to watch as a group of like ladies though, actually. But because when I first watched it, I just watched it like on my own as a teen, and it's also fun because my other roommate also watched it like when it was coming out, like when they were when she was a teen, and so it's the two of us like reminiscing about like our like high school memories of it, and then our third friend just being horrified. Like we had to skip a bunch of stuff because all three of us were like, we cannot handle the vomit. But because I forgot it's just like different bodily function each episode. but uh, but yeah, no, it's yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch as a group and like discuss and laugh over. Luna is not a fan. Um, Luna is a fan of Charlie Brown though, because
Oh,
with the Apple TV, you get like all of the classic Charlie Brown, and I threw it on the second I got the Apple TV, and Luna parked herself right in that corner and was very happily watching. Um, but it's cute. They like position themselves in a very specific way where like you can tell their eye line is to the TV.
yeah,
but
animals like TV.
yeah,
My
I
sister puts on old Disney classics when it's storming for my mom's dogs.
aww. I gotta start putting on
She I don't remember which ones they like, but they do have preferences, and so she knows which ones not to put on when it's storming and which ones are safe go tos.
yeah, it's a fun thing of
She's begun
Luna.
snoring.
Oh, when we like go to the vet and stuff, Luna loves to watch just like the world go by. Like she wants the window view. She wants to see the people go past. Boo is terrified the entire time, which is funny because at home they're kind of the opposite, where Boo wants to meet all the
Mhm.
people, and Luna, she's warming up. She's getting to the point now where people can pet her pretty easily when they first meet her, which I like. But yeah, it's a thing of shortly after I discovered that Luna likes watching the streetcar window, like when we go to the vet, a friend of mine found these like there's like walking sort of like it's almost like walking tours on YouTube, but it's basically people filming just as they like walk down the streets of places.
Yeah.
And so he found ones for our city, and for a while there, like he just had the habit of every time we were hanging out, he would just like throw one on in the background, and like sometimes it's like people were recording
Yeah.
back in like the '90s, right? So you get to see like areas of the city now back then, sort of thing, and that just reminded me I gotta start throwing those on for her because I think she'll enjoy those a lot. Um, Especially because they're usually pretty like either they have just like soft music in the background or they're completely silent. That's yeah.
Bye.
That's,
No, not on the bed. No, not on the bed.
oh
No.
oh.
Thank you. What? Don't look at me like that. She has to follow the rules. Oh no. No, not on my laptop. Turn off. Okay, yeah, you two go do it, whatever you want to do. They're not
I'll
allowed to
do.
like itch on the bed, especially when I'm streaming because they just make the whole bed vibrate. And
Uh,
I don't know if you saw the camera like bouncing.
I didn't quite notice it, but
Now, now Riju is demanding Vi's attention, and Vi, instead of giving Riju attention, has just left the bed. So Riju has plopped her lower half on my shins. Ayo. Alright, we're gonna go into our first sprint.
brilliant. I
So
actually
that
just
I can
completed.
turn to.
I just completed my first task for tonight, but I'll let you. Oh, we'll talk about it after the sprinteroonie.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, hello. We're back.
We're back. I spent that sprint doing some schoolwork stuff. I the one I finished just before the sprint is that I had last semester where one of my teachers suggested I become a tutor, like because we have like as part of our program there's like a little like tutoring study session every week, and yeah, my professor was like, "You should do that. It's paid," and I was like, "It's paid,"
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
and they just reached out to me because I thought both me and the teacher thought that it was going to be like this semester that they would switch over who the tutor is, and like I would be next in line, but it's actually next like in the fall that they switch over. And so I just got an email uh, from like the coordinator of it being like, your teacher told me you were interested, and I was like, yes, I'm interested, and they were like, great, set up a Zoom meeting. I was like, yeah, Zoom meeting, and then they were like, send over your resume, and I was like, fuck. Thankfully we had a class where we did our resumes, and so I was like, just do some bibbity bopping to this and send it over, which is what I did before the sprint. And then during the sprint I was working on, I have a group presentation, fun, and I just needed to start on my part of it. But, so I was just grabbing some links, writing up some notes.
Sorry, my connection said that it was reconnecting, so I stopped and was waiting.
Yeah.
I first started to check on a bug report that I made, and most of it was fixed, but I do need to make a fresh report for this one thing, so there's that. Um, and then I
Sorry, wait, a bug
also went
report for
ahead
what?
a video game.
Uh,
Like they sent out an update and then it essentially broke the game, and some of us who tried time the game was still like glitching after they did the rollback, since our files were oh fuck, what is the word, basically like people who didn't play the game or the characters they didn't sign on to, when the update happened they could just roll back and it was fine, but the ones that did had like an updated file and it was like contradicting the thing. Well, all of my characters except the one that I tried to play are fine, so I need to make a fresh bug report for that one so they can see if they can fix it. No, corrupted isn't the word I'm looking for. It's when you have two separate files that are at odds with each other. Like,
incompatible?
no, they're like the files are contesting each other because they're two different versions. Like it happens sometimes if you like write on a desktop and it does, and your document doesn't upload to the cloud, and then you go and you write on a different computer and then you like save that one to the cloud, and then when you go on the desktop, the one on the desktop will be like, hey, there's contradicting files because the one in your cloud says that it was updated at this point, but this one, it basically keeps it from overwriting itself.
Mm.
Well, I think that mine overwrote itself instead of doing that. So I have to do a fresh bug report for it, which is fine. Uh, and then I started reading PTSD Radio. Well, like continued reading it because that is the next series on my list. one of RP's betas started commenting on the manuscript he sent, so I looked at those for a few minutes. Then I looked over my outline for the second book, so I can start that whenever I want. Nice. I have not
It's on my
forgotten. I
list
just
too.
took my shot, and my shot kicked my ass, so I didn't really.
I have it on my list and on my emails. I might actually start that now. I read like the first sentence of the first chapter and I was like, ooh, this is gonna be good. I need to save it. I'm not prepared. I was like on the bus or something and my stop was coming up and I was like, I'm not prepared to do this. But oh, we're in a group. I can see other people's commentos. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna actually make a copy then. If I do that, will I still see people's comments? Because I don't want to see people's comments. I'm easily swayed. Nope, I still see them. God damn it. Okay. I could have sworn there's a way you can make a copy and not copy the comments. Hold on.
Tina is on a mission.
It goddamn won't let me. Okay, maybe if I just download it. What kind of file do I want it as? I could make it an EPUB and put it on my e-reader. Will I read
You
it?
can also ask our
on my phone.
people.
I mean, it took me like 0.2 seconds to download it as an EPUB rather than sending that message. Sometimes it's just easier to do the tech stuff yourself, you know?
That's fine. I was just. You hadn't done the EPUB when I made my comment. I glanced at the first couple comments while I was at work earlier, and it made me feel good while I was getting rained on at work. That's great.
Oh yeah, because you do the outside things. So you're getting rained on outside.
Yes.
My brain still like hasn't like my brain is slowly meshing together the fact that when I pictured you before we actually saw you on cam, I just imagined you with short hair. So like and so now my brain is like doing the mesh of like the like sort of mental picture I had versus the actual picture, like slapping it on top of being like, oh, your poor long hair in the rain. But,
Apparently, he did something right in the first few pages.
you did
Nice.
one thing right, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I get that. I get that feeling of it's like, hell yeah. You know, so.
Oh, God damn it. Fighting with me. Okay.
But I still on my list for this month to read. I have to finish PTSD Radio. A side character's love story, which I read volume 1 of that while my daughter was in the room, and she looked over, she's like, what are you reading? And I was like, a side character's love story. And she's like, but if it's about the side character, aren't they the main character now? And I was like, yes, technically. And I'm like, but the idea is that she has like all of the archetypal traits of a side character. And she was like, oh, okay. But she didn't look like she fully believed me, which is fair. And I have to get my hands on a copy of The Ghost Keeper, which is apparently a one and done. So I just might have to buy it. And in the Marvels, I'm pretty far in, and Divergent. I need to read for the Nostalgia Train book club. Also, I'm a reread Not Your Ex's Hexes because CB and I rescheduled that for this weekend. So listen to it again on Friday. Sorry about all the yawning. It's the incoming migraine.
It's okay, just contagious.
Darby said, I am a wild man with some luscious locks.
You really do have luscious locks.
Yay, yay. That song has been stuck in my head, and I don't know why.
Okay, let's see
But
if that worked. Better give her another page. Yes, brilliant. Uh, okay. Then I will have it. This also puts it now in my Apple Books so that when I'm on the train and everything to go to school tomorrow, I can edit it. Although I don't know if I'll do that on the way to school because I have a math test tomorrow. So. I gotta work on
I
that
have
during
so
the
much
sprint.
manga to read.
I've been like blazing through manga. I read a bunch to the point where I have to look at my stats on the story graph to tell you about what I read. Although I did, uh, as we know, I am forever reading stuff about like sex work. And I found this manga from an author who like I've read their like horror stuff. They do like stuff that's like either um like not even like they do stuff where it like kind of parades as a dark romance and then dives straight into horror, um, where it's like you think like, oh, this is gonna be just like a
There's a
suspicious
fine
situation, and
line.
it's like, oh no, there's full on murder going on. Like but yeah, no. And I had basically gone through because I read like one or two shorts from them, but they read like a really interesting fever dream. So I'm gonna reread them. But as I was looking for them again, I found a bunch of other works from them were available on Libby. So I was just like save, 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 save. And one of the ones I did in doing that was about a guy who like owes he like falls in love with a lady sex worker, and she has like a fake sob story, and so he proceeds to like drain his finances and owe significant amounts of money to loan sharks. Oh, uh, are you back?
We are back. What the
But
fuck?
yeah, he like he like ruins his. Ooh. Now I'm
You
small.
continue. I've
he
got to
ruins
fix
his
things.
he ruins his life financially in order to try to save her, and ends up to the point where like basically like stuff is going very bad, and he gets rescued by the next door brothel that is a all male brothel. And they're like, just come work for us. And the thing is that like this author, like I knew it was going to be dark going in, and there's stuff I'm purposely not mentioning because it's triggering. Like if you, I don't even remember the title of this, but if you guys are interested, I give you the title. Like check the summary. It does list some of the trigger warnings. But it's a thing of like he gets rescued by this brothel, and I expected it to be like dark, but some of it was also like really dark humor, and some of it was just straight up funny, and some of it was just straight up heartwarming. Like there's a part where one of the guys, like who's like one of the sex workers in the male brothel, he's like this like sort of your like standard like not gang, but he's kind of like sort of like that like playboy stereotype who like like sort of like playboy bad boy, and he like wears leather jackets and like insults all the other workers, and like he has a very specific, he wears a lot of leopard print. He's just got a very specific vibe that like I don't know how to describe that stereotype, but I know it is kind of like a caricature in itself. But he has where he ends up leaving the brothel and like moving to another country to like be in a situationship. But as he's leaving, there's just this one amazing little page of him saying goodbye to his clients, and there's no words, but just like the way everyone is represented, like these like because it's a thing too where we never see clients' faces; they're always like sort of obscured. Well, sort of. Like we never see like full like it's always like in profile or from the back of the head sort of thing. But like there's one who fully like they're hugging and he's like crying. The tears are hitting his cheek in such an artful way. There's like so many like just like beautiful little like hugs and moments. And like this guy has been so shitty to the rest of the group, but seeing these absolutely like beautiful tender moments of him saying goodbye to his clients just like really touched me. But yeah, the author also just loves to be like, oh, you thought things were gonna be happy, plot twist, and I was like, oh, my favorite character. It was a fun read, but it was everything this author does just reads like a fever dream because stuff goes fast. Where like you get like whiplash of being like, wait, what just happened? Wait, what just happened? But and it doesn't help that like I'm a pretty speedy reader anyway, especially with comics and manga. So I'm already blazing through it. I'm like, wait, hold on, did I miss something? Um, but uh, but yeah, I don't remember the title of that one off the top of my head.
Heyo Eva.
Maybe I'll just
All
stick
the
it in
highs to Eva. Eva said, as someone who has watched nearly all of the available Love After Lockup episodes, the number of people willing to ruin themselves financially for the chance of love is high. That
Oh
is
my god,
fair.
it's a.
If I had no morals, I'd get my rent paid by lonely old men. Legit. That's fair. Yeah, I
Mr.
had to
Box.
fix things. Why am I picturing this man in full
Yeah,
on
he would
JoJo?
totally be a JoJo.
So sorry. That's fine. Audiobooks don't work for me. Zero picturing things in my head.
um, but uh, but yeah, it's called Loved Circus. I'll put uh, the author's name in the comments. Again, very like their stuff gets really dark, and even this one, dark but fun. And actually, another book I read is called Other Ever Afters, and it's a collection of queer fairy tales. And I had like seen it around because I know the artist who does it. Like it's a graphic novel, and I was like, oh, this seems cool. I've heard their stuff is good. I'll pick it up. The thing is, it's
Mm-hmm.
made for children, not for Tina. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed most of it, but because it is literally made like it's intended to be fairy tales you could read your kids that are queer and just generally great and also have
Yeah,
some really
the
great stuff about like questioning the system in place, you know? And I was like so I was wildly oscillating because it's several different I think there's about 7 of them. I was wildly oscillating, with every other story either being like wildly entertained or very bored because I've read many a story in my day, and some of them are like very similar to other fairy tales and very similar. Like it's like I've seen this before, but obviously I
yeah,
have because I'm not a child. but uh, but yeah,
way
that one
too
I'll definitely.
innocent for you, Tina.
The
Let's have
thing is,
murder.
there was actually one scene where I was like, "Oh, there's full on blood in this." I was not expecting that. But yeah, in like a level like it's like Disney level like violence, if that makes sense. Like where stuff's really
Mm-hmm.
like implied,
Yeah, it's
Um,
the
but
uh, the Stephen King was famously traumatized by Bambi, so
yeah,
he would not let
it
his
never goes
children
as
watch
far as
Disney,
Bambi. um,
which I love as a note. I think that's hilarious. Only Ever After's new queer fairy tales. Bambi was serious. Old Yeller too.
yeah, I never. Uh,
Older Disney movies were kind of fucked up. So we grew up on the grief. Yes, Old Yeller. Bambi was serious.
but yeah, I just posted the 2 titles there. But yeah, I feel like Other Ever Afters, like the second any of my like friends or family have like new babies, I will go to the bookstore and buy that one and like give it as a gift because I think it's such a great book. And yeah,
I
just
might pick it up for my children. So
yeah. I mean, I can DM you the title of it too because I uh, don't know if you'll
I have to
want
wait until I have money.
yeah, but just so that you have it saved. Because
If any of you were writing a profile slash bio for your female main character, would you fill out the question where it says what was their childhood like, what core memories they have stayed with them today slash made them in a certain way? Are
I
you
mean,
asking if I would fill out the question or how I would fill out the question? Because
that's a good point.
I would probably not fill it out just because at least not until after the project is done. I don't tend to overly think about or detail my characters until after I've finished at least the first draft because I just that whereas I am a big outliner for the story and the plot, the character the details of the characters' backstories and their preferences and stuff are things that I more develop as I go. And with that I find that for me it's a lot more I'm a lot more intuitive about adding in their little mannerisms and like quirks and stuff that they've had since childhood as I write them.
See,
Like
I'm
for
kind of on.
example, in Save Her Soul, whenever Moxie like enters a room and to go sit down, she like picks, in the words of one of my CPs, the most caddish spot in the room to sit. So
See, I'm kind of on the opposite side of that, where I actually like to have like sort of like main life events sort of list in my character profile. Um, Mostly so that like sort of the big stuff like any mostly any big traumas, but also like um yeah, just sort of big life events because then it sort of makes it where like as I'm doing the draft, I have those things in the back of my mind of like, oh yeah, like even for example, like there's a character in a false oracle who like, you know, grew up playing a specific sport, right? And like excelling at it. And so like I have in my head about the age that they started that sport and for about how long, and there was a major injury where that was about in their age. It's literally just a little list of like, you know, at this age started sport, at this age had injury. um so that like, you know, I can yeah, have that just rolling in the back of my head. Because I don't have like I'll have the memory that that stuff has happened, but not the specifics of it, and that's why I write it all down. But yeah, I would say though, well, especially with the like with that kind of stuff, and with you know, your female main character, it's a thing of like, would it matter to the story? And with your main character, I feel like childhood stuff probably would, just because you know your childhood shapes in part what you are, like who you are. For like the side characters that like pop up, you know, like for a little bit, you know, to be cannon fodder or just to be in the background, I don't do that kind of stuff with because it's very easy to have where like you try to fill it for every single character, but which I have had a bad habit of doing before. But but yeah, I'm more of a I like to have everything done beforehand. But
Gold Dealer is the name of a dog. The dog dies. Spoiler. I'm not sorry about that. I don't really do character bios depending on the story. I could answer that question though. It's more relevant in one specific story than the others. Oh yeah, you ask me any question about my character, I will give you an answer very quickly.
mhm.
But it was there's a 50-50 as to whether or not the answer was planned or it's just like this is what would make sense. I think maybe I should fill it out because it explains her personality and ways she handles the world. Yeah, like there is nothing wrong with filling it out, and it can be very helpful. So if you want to fill it out, fill
Mhm.
it out. I was just answering for myself. A lot of character building happens in the reader's head. I agree with Sam. I don't know the characters till the end either. Well, I would not go that far. I know my characters very well. I feel like for the way that I write, I I more it's more intuitive for me to write their mannerisms as I write out the scene. So like as I'm writing out the scene and as I'm writing out the characters interacting and stuff, it makes like what makes sense for the character makes sense for the character, and then if I need to like it's like, oh well, if another character like points out like why are you like this, and it's like, oh well, it's because of this or because of that, or like or a habit that they've inherited uh from their parent. For again example with Moxie, she's very pushy when it comes to food, and that's because she is Latina coded, and that's very much a cultural thing, and so she picked that up from like her dad and from being around other Hispanic or Latin characters. So she's very much a you need to eat, you need to be well fed, and you should try all foods. So this tiny furry animal. Oh, a
It's Luna.
bunny! I was like my dog with witch hat on. No, or tiny dog with witch hat on. No.
Yeah, no. No, those are her. She's got gray ears. And so, yeah, they do form sort of a triangle on the top. But yeah, she's decided to relax over there. Even though the vet recommended having the blankets down for them to sit on, she loves to sit just off of them, just to spite me.
She's like, I'm too hot on the blanket, but I'm too cold on the floor. This is. I get you, Luna. That's why I sleep with one leg out of my blanket sometimes, and then I gotta switch legs.
but, uh, but
What?
yeah.
Oh, did you steal my blanket? Yeah. As a way of protesting me being on the laptop, she started as you can see I have like many blankets. She will pick one and she will slowly like steal it from my little pile and then just make it a pillow. But she I know she does this to like in a way get my attention and to complain that I'm on the laptop, because she always bunches it up in a way that she can lay her head, and her head will be like right there at, with the view of the laptop as she stares at me like this. I had a bunny once. I'd trade my dog for a bunny. Don't tell my dog. Your secret is
They're a lot
safe
of
with
fun. Oh, they're both here now. Hello, Boo. Yeah, hi. It's very fun having this new setup where you can guys can see them hanging out. But
me. Yes.
yeah.
No, no, itching on the bed. Go off the bed to do it. Yeah, see, the people don't want to see a faux earthquake. They don't. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Nay. Ayo, ayo, what's the matter? We are back. So I didn't
Back.
just read that sprint because my brain was like, we need to do some other things too so that we don't forget. I finished filling out the bug report, which all I really needed to do was go get my player log files and such. So now it's just the waiting game for that. And then I
Mm.
went and uh, some of my regulars gave me their availability for April, so I went and marked that down and
Including me.
prepped. Yes. And I prepped my Mila note for the next quarter, April, May, June. So cleared out all the January, Feb, most of the March stuff. I kept the info for next Monday and Sunday. So
I
and then I went back to reading, which I am a little over halfway through the the second on. So PTSD is technically 6 individual volumes or 3 omnibuses, with the omnibuses being 2 volumes each. So I'm in
wait. Sorry. What
4.
is?
PTSD Radio. It's
Ah,
a
okay. You
manga.
just said PTSD at first, and I was like, what?
Oh, sorry. The PTSD Radio is set up. So I'm in volume 4 now, and I want to finish the full series tonight. So
Nice.
yeah.
I went and got water. I gave the bunnies their arthritis vitamin. I recorded video of Boo because I have music on during the sprints through the TV, and Boo was bathing himself to the beat of "Guess" by Charlie XCX, and so I was recording him and posting it to my Instagram story. And then I worked a little bit on One Mystery Treat because I'm hoping there's like, unless disaster strikes school wise, I'm hoping to update again on Saturday. But yeah, we shall
Nice.
see. Because
CB
I have
takes
it
an
inked, but
ooh. CB takes a improv class on Saturdays now, so our book talks will be moving to Sundays, so as to not
mm,
interfere with her thing.
yeah.
Oh, I need to see when the Nostalgia Train Divergent is going to be.
Yeah, I wanna get back to it. I miss it so much, and one of my friends every time we like, well, actually, I don't think she did it during this housewarming party, but usually when we hang out with other friends, she'll turn to them and be like, "Tina has a comic," and now I've started to do. Maybe this is why she stopped doing it, because now I've started to do where like she'll say for me to like talk about it, and then I turn to her and I'm like, "No, but you're better explaining what it's about," because she is. And and considering that's what I did last time, I wonder if she stopped mentioning, or maybe just because she's been lightly on my case of being like, I miss it, I want it back. Um, but but yeah, especially like
I
there's
love
some
that though.
fun stuff going
Hold
on in the
on.
updates.
Ah, well, I'm excited. I
Mm.
can't wait. Um,
Yeah.
just hold on. I want to catch up on chat. Jessica got 300-ish words, but wasn't really paying attention to the numbers. Hey, that's fine.
That's
My
fair.
shoulder is destroying me, but I refuse to let it keep me from doing it.
Mm. Can you type
Ti-
one-handedly?
Tiger Balm. Depending
That
on
too.
what is aching your shoulder, Tiger Balm is a godsend.
Mm-hmm.
Chris's shoulder has been really messing with him. He bought a shoulder brace to help with it, and he had been applying Tiger Balm. Like he'd wake up in pain and put some Tiger Balm on, But the like this past week, I've started putting the balm on for him, and I think he wasn't actually because I could feel where I don't know if it's a pinch or a knot or
Mm.
what it is, but I could feel where it is, and I don't think he was able to physically reach that. So like
Mm.
I've been applying the balm, and then also my mom, who went to school for massage therapy, she said the best way to actually like massage knots or sore areas is to start with the area around it, and you
Mm-hmm.
warm up the muscle around it, and then you slowly like loosen that area, and then it makes it easier. So I've been doing that too, and he said he's felt a lot better today. So
I should have asked your mom for a massage when I was at the riding retreat and we were
oh,
occasionally
she
waiting
hates
around.
touching people, so it's better that you did
Ah.
not. That is like she went to
Mm-hmm.
school for massage therapy, and then she's like, I don't know why I did this. I hate touching people. And that is why she is not a massage therapist.
But thankfully, with my new school slash career of choice, I'm getting a lot less like muscle aches and pains. But after I moved, I definitely had to book an appointment and get myself sorted. I'm hoping I can finagle getting a doctor's note so they can put it on my insurance from my school. That would be good. But
That is one thing I miss from living with my mom is when I lived with my mom, if my head hurt or I had a bad migraine, she would massage my feet and it would help a lot. Um, well, Eva, I too sometimes forget I am at a stream. RP got distracted as he started, so he got precisely one sentence of 13 words. Started of book two. Hey, that's good though. My shoulder has weekdays where it bounces in and out of the socket or straight up rolls out. Tiger Balm would not help that.
yeah,
It
it was
hurts like
beyond
hell and
Tiger Bob, I
requires.
think.
Tiger Balm is a muscle thing, I believe. It hurts like hell and requires me to have my brace and sling on. That sucks. I hate that for you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. My husband's uncle had muscle surgery removed surgically, had muscles surgically removed from his shoulders.
that is
First thing that
fascinating
came
to
to
me.
my neurospacey mind. It
It would
is.
for me
How
too.
does
That's
heyo?
crazy.
I did some electrotherapy and a heated water bag this morning, but I need to grab the heating pad. I
Mm.
hope the heating pad helps a lot. Yeah, hi Heather. Yeah, ow. I will also say, Jessica, while I cannot in good conscience necessarily support pushing through pain and stuff because that's not usually good for you. I totally empathize and do the same on occasion where I'm like, I've been too sick and too, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna just do what I want to do and handle the consequences later. So we are kindred spirits in that. Right? I can't really handle detailed medical procedures. I have aphantasia, so I don't picture things, but I do feel things. I too have aphantasia and
Me
also
too.
an overactive empathetic imagination. Like you said, he surgically removed muscles, and my mind's like, which what? Like, I wanted to ask which ones, but then I was like, but do I? Because
I don't. I want to know just because in my head I'm picturing like the diagram of where the medical. I say picturing. I always say like I like visualize it. I don't, but it's people talk
you
about it
too
that
have
way.
aphantasia. Yeah, no, I
Um,
get you.
but uh, but yeah, no. It's a thing of like I'm just like imagining like where the muscle, and I'm like, what muscles would be removed? I'm not so empathetic to the medical procedures, thankfully, but I don't like. I had one time where I had to have a very minor surgery, like it was like in the hospital bed, sort of minor surgery, where they had to just numb the area, and the doctor was like, "Do you want to watch?" I don't know why he asked me this, but I was immediately like, "No, not on myself," and he was like, "Good point, fair enough." One thing that does still haunt
Oh,
me is in an old like I think was it a dictionary or an encyclopedia in my middle school when I was like 12 or so. There was a photo of this one doctor who like was in Antarctica and had to operate on himself because he got uh like I won't go into the gory details, but like he had to operate on himself, and they took photos, like and the photos were in this encyclopedia for some goddamn reason, and that freaked me out. Um, the idea of having to do surgery on yourself, nah.
Oh no. Well, it depends on what I'm doing. I cannot give myself a shot. Nope. Like Chris gave me my shot. Oh, by the way, I finally got my shot back, and Chris gave it to
Hell
me
yeah.
last week, and it fucked me up so bad because so if I'm taking my shot like monthly, it's pretty fine. It might give me some weird symptoms for a couple hours, but then I'm good. But the first like 1 to 3 months after, or, hold on, I'm momming.
I guess I just vamp. I can. The thing is that I can see the comments on the side, and I don't want to like reply to them without them actually popping up. But I don't have the control to make them pop up. So, but
You
yeah,
can
we'll
still
get into.
reply to them.
Okay, maybe I'll just read them out. Oh my god, you
Okay.
guys are talking too fast now. Never mind.
What were
Sam
we
will pull them
saying?
up. I was just gonna respond to comments because they were kind
Uh,
of.
oh, so Chris gave me for the first like couple months that my shot it like fucks me up for several days. So in 3 months I'll be fine again. We got to figure out where we were in the muscles removed. Hearing about medical procedures, that is, yeah. Um, I had this weird thing with my neck lately. It's kind of like that, only with what feels like a disc not being in place. Ooh.
Oh, that's
I
rough.
think chiropractors can help with that, though. I'll find out more information if I see or talk to him about the next time I see or talk to you guys. Okay.
Brilliant, thank
This
you.
is a lifelong issue. Happened when I was born, so I've 100% pushed forever and a day. I get you.
Mm,
I went into panic attacks before when folks were discussing heart procedures. Oh no, that's when I learned. It's fair. I just today had a chiropractor appointment. I hope it takes, but I do have another for next week. Fair. No, I'm reading comments. Heather has a chiropractor appointment. Eva wanted to be a veterinarian until one day in elementary school got to visit a vet and see what they do. A chow dog was getting a giant metal pin, and it's like, oh no.
that's a lot, especially for elementary.
I decided as a small child I would never be a vet. Hold on, how many are there?
Oh, it's just me. Sam's on mute. Um, yeah, no. Something. Sam was probably going to say something to the effect of I decided as a child not to do vet stuff because hurting animals. And if that's
No,
not what she was about to say, that's what I was going to say.
no, it was well, because it's a medical thing, so I know that like the vet doesn't actually like even as a child I understood the vet doesn't hurt the animal, the vet helps the animal. No, I decided I could never be a vet because I could never break the news to somebody that their dog needed to be put down.
mm,
I was
yeah,
like,
I
that
meant.
is my line. I cannot do it at that point. Uh, yeah, like as I guess older elementary, I would be fine with. Younger elementary, not so much. From behind a wall with a big glass window, like adult students too. They
Oh, I see.
at our zoo they have something like that too, where you can if they have like they do surgeries and stuff in an amphitheater, so like you can see it and watch. I have somehow a really good caregiver at bedside though. Like I've been next to my mother You are a good caregiver. I've been next to my mother and husband in times of medical gore. It didn't phase me at all. Yeah, I was in the fourth grade. It was Texas. Yeah, no, fourth grade,
Hmm.
1990/1981. Yeah, because my youngest is in fourth grade now, and if she were interested in being a vet and stuff, I would 100% be okay with her witnessing an educational medical procedure. So, my youngest is also a little twisted on her own, though. So, we went. Okay, so we went to a hot pot, right? I know she's fine with me telling this story. My this is a side thing. I love discussing what my children are okay with and what they're not okay with me sharing on the internet or to people, because like I'll take a picture or something and I'll be like, "Can I share this?" And she will immediately specify, like, you could share it with friends and family, or yeah, you could
That's fair.
share it on your Discord server. And like, oh, you can tell anybody. Like, these are their levels, because those, and I love the fact that they default to that, and I know they do that because that's how I ask them. Like, that's how I used to ask them. I used to be like, hey, so are you okay with me sharing this? And I'd be like, this is where I would share it and who would see it. And so now that they just, it's like they cut the middleman. They already know.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, she's fine with me telling anybody this. So we go to a hot pot and my husband orders a crab, right? And so, but the crab had like broken in half, and my daughter was like, first my husband looks at it and then puts it back together, and then my daughter just keeps taking it apart because she wants to see the inside of it. And then like the crab
Wait,
is cooked
quick question. Was it broken vertically or horizontally?
like diagonally.
Oh, interesting. I would
Like
also.
it was not intended to be broken. It just sort of like the shell cracked, because
Oh,
it was not
interesting.
a very it was a meaty crab, but not a very hard shell. I
Mm.
forgot what kind of crab it was. But then like Chris cooks the crab, he puts it, or well, he boils the crab. He goes to go to the bathroom, and he had told our youngest that she could have some of the crab. Well, then her brothers wanted to try it, so she just passes out my husband's crab. He didn't get any of this crab. He like comes back and he looks at it and he's like, they ate everything. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, they ate the brains. I wouldn't eat the brains. And my youngest just goes, they were delicious. Well, because they were really into the seafood part of the hot pot, we decided to take them to a seafood boil as a treat. That my children fucking love seafood boils now. Uh, and my daughter absolutely loves ordering crawdads. Do you know what a crawdad is?
I think I've seen them before. I'm gonna do a quick Google to refresh my
They're
memory.
like this. They're like a fusion of a shrimp and a lobster. And
Oh
now,
yeah.
shrimps in general, when you order shrimp, they come without heads. When you order lobster, comes without a head. The crab is mostly head, but the crawdads are these little tiny things, and they come fully shelled, fully with
Hmm.
all their things. My daughter loves to pick them up. She will name them, and then she will like dance them in front of her dad and her brother and be like, help me, she's gonna eat me. And then she just rips the head. And it is just one of the things that she loves doing the most. She wanted her oldest brother to eat one of the crawdads, but he's like, I can't. They're looking at me. Like, he had tried and he had eaten crawdads before, but like he just, the thing, he's like, Mom, I can't eat crawdads because they stare into my soul. And I'm like, that's very fair. You don't have
That's
to
fair.
eat
Yeah.
them. And his sister, she's just like, but they're so good. And I'm like, look, if you take the head off for your brother, he might eat it. And he's like, yeah, if you do that, I'll eat it. He's like, I just can't do it. And so that is their thing now. Is she? murders the crawdads so he may eat them. And I'm like, but she does. She loves. That's one of the best things. Also, like, okay, so let me grab this bag so that I may
Oh.
show you something. My sister got the children these bags, and I also love this bag. See this little plush thing?
Mhm.
So what you do, I have to take the thing, is you can fold the bag up.
Oh, and tuck it in because it's one of those like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you fully tuck it in to the plush, right? Well, when I told my daughter saw me untuck it, right? And she's like, Mom, why are you using its intestines as a bag? And I was like, because that is the way it was created for me to use its intestines as a bag. And then she proceeded, I'm like, aren't you going to use yours that way too? And she's like, how could you ask me to use its intestines? But then, like, that's just what she does. And that's what she tells everybody. Like, we were at the Parthenon the first time she used it, and she and her dad were sitting somewhere so that me and her brothers could talk to the expert that was there that day and ask them questions about the Parthenon. And then I come back over, and my husband goes, Honey. And I'm like, Yeah. And he's like, She says the bag is the intestines of the plushie. And I'm like, Yes, I know. And he's like, Oh, you know. And I'm like, Yes, she told me. She tried to shame me for it. And he just looks at me. He's always like mildly scandalized by her. And I'm like, We are erasing an Adams family member. And yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Like, she watches the black and white horror movies because she's like really into them. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, crawdads, they are tasty.
We call them crayfish here, and
Oh,
that's
that's
why I
fair.
had to pause because I was like, searched up what a crawdad was, and then I was like, that looks like a crayfish, and I was like, are they the same thing? And Google was like, yeah, they're the same thing. I was like, okay, cool. We used to I went to science camp as a preteen, and we used to catch them in one of the ponds,
Ooh.
as well as frogs. Never ate them though. It was just a catch and release sort of situation.
In seventh grade, yeah, we had to dissect some. Well, I dissected it in sixth grade because I was in biology in sixth grade, and I actually, I made a deal with a senior who was also in biology, and she took our notes, and I did all the dissecting because she had pretty handwriting. So I was like, yeah, I'll do the dirty work. Heather was going to say that reminds me of an old-fashioned surgical theater. Yeah, that's basically what they are. I did the required one starfish and wrote a paper to avoid the frog. I cut the frog open. My daughter may have inherited her twistedness from me. It's fine.
I was about to
It
say.
was it was
From what I know
maybe
of the two of you.
yeah. Although she's got her edgy attitude from her aunt, and when I told her that while we were at Cheesecake Factory, my sister looks at me and she goes, "You're not wrong, but I don't appreciate it." Uh, it was maybe at a college, the vet viewing thing. Schools worked so differently from from when I swapped to the fifth grade, Illinois, that my memories haze even more. I feel that. Crawdad hunting was a thing we did as kids in Texas. I have crawdads in my creek here, but like, no thank you. Yeah, well, it's because that's just how they're served with a face staring at you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a great description of a crawfish, crayfish, crawdad. They they live in mud holes. Yeah. I don't think I've ever eaten one. I also don't enjoy shrimp. The
That makes
first
sense.
time, see, my uncle had an aquarium and he had crawdads in his aquarium, so I didn't like think of eating them until I was in Louisiana. We were actually like driving through Louisiana from Texas to, I forgot what state. I was with my boss and some coworkers, and yeah, we ordered a like seafood sampler and all that, and I took the head off the crawdad, and then someone was like, "Now you suck out the meat," and I went to suck out the meat, but I got a mouthful of spices, and I was like, "Ah!"
Mm.
I started coughing. And my boss was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I didn't expect all the spices at once."
Oh man, when we went to that alligator place during the
Oh
Red
no,
Heart
it was
Tree,
the
the shrimp
catfish.
I had, oh my god,
It
shrimp
was
was so good.
Huckleberry Finn's catfish.
Oh yeah, catfish, which
Yeah.
I was not blessed by, but and I still don't know what to make of the alligator. If I tried it again, I feel like I would just stare off into space again, just trying to figure out how I feel about it. Like, it wasn't even that I was trying to, like, identify whether it tasted similar to chicken or not, because I didn't even get to that question. I'm like, the question of
No,
how do you feel about this was still so up in the air, where I
I
was just
know this
intensely
is
staring at the ceiling trying to
great.
figure it out.
We have to make it a tradition that as often as possible we feed you alligator, at least one alligator bite every trip, so that
I
you
mean, I'd
can
do
see
it.
this, and then like in 50 years it would be funny if you're just still staring into space like, I just don't know. It's the great
I
question.
truly, I've never had that experience before of like not being able to wrap my head around a food. Like,
I know it's great because I love alligator bites. I think they don't. It's like weirdly identical to chicken, but with a different texture. Like the taste is very chicken, but the texture is a little different. And so this is, I don't know, it's just fascinating to me.
the shrimp was
The
so
mud
good, and
holes
those
are
little corn things.
corn nuggets.
Yeah, those were good. There was
The
something
mud
else that
holes
was
are
good too. There
the
was a
mud
lot of really
hole.
good appetizers.
They were.
Oh, sorry.
Uh, you're fine. You can. All you're doing is making me want the appetizers. It's fine. I don't mind. The South, like, I feel specializes in, well, like our southern seafood places specialize in really good appetizers. So
Mm.
the mud holes are creepy as fuck to me. Like when I was a kid outside the creek with the bikes, waiting while the other kids hunted. That's fair.
Mm.
I was undeterred by the mud holes. I was the hunter. My sister was the you. Sadly, we do not have mud holes where I live, so I think we had to bike 2 miles just to get to that park. I was like 7 in these memories. So,
Mm.
I went to a neighborhood crawfish boil in NOLA circa 1983. I was in junior high. It was my first experience with crawfish, but I was not going to do what some were showing me with the head. What did
Oh,
they do with the
I
head?
assume like sucking out the meat from them, but
For anybody who doesn't know what NOLA is, that's New Orleans.
uh, I
Did they eat
figured
it?
that was my
Because you
guess.
can see the brain, so you can eat the brain. As my daughter loves to point out. Now that I think of it, I don't know what my sister and our neighborhood friends did with the crawdad. Did they eat them? Shrimp po' boys. Oh, po' boys are tasty. It's a type of sandwich.
Yeah, I know what a po' boy is.
Yeah, ask her. Cool. Just the memory. It does. Like, it's not that it was spicy. It was that it was a mouthful of spices. Like all of
Like
the
the cinnamon
seasonings
challenge.
and stuff. Yeah. Alligators and chickens are both dinosaurs. Oh,
Fair
huh.
point.
They do have a. My mind is blown. Maybe it tastes like ancient. You have
Maybe
tasted
that's what
things
befuddles
at
me.
times. My my sister said we use them to go fishing with, and we'd chase little kids with them.
Oh.
Both fair uses. Yes, the brain. Oh, okay. So it's just that they ate the brains. All right, that makes sense.
Mm.
I absolutely adore my husband's show because my husband is somebody who enjoys the weird reactions he gets from people when he talks about the things he eats, just as a Hispanic man. Like, we went to this restaurant, Harbor Cafe, and they have like giant fish, or like you can order, it's a whole fish, like the head and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and he loves eating that, and the eyeballs are like his favorite part, and he
Mm-hmm.
likes the looks and stuff people give him. But then his our daughter does very similar things, and he's just always scandalized by this. He's like, especially because he'll try to creep her out, and then she creeps him out, and I'm like, turnabout's fair play. Like, I full on expect that if he like gave her the eyeball and he was like, it's the favorite part, she would just immediately eat it and then start playing with the other eyeball and start doing like
Mm.
weird kid things. So watching them interact is just one of my favorite parts of family days.
One of the weirdest ones I've done is that my dad really likes, like, we all really like octopus, but my dad especially likes, there's a salad where they use, like, the little baby ones, and you just, you stick them in your mouth, and they're basically, like, they're cooked, but they're not, like, they're still, they're still flexible, and so when you put it in your mouth, their
I
little
was
tentacles just, like, caress your tongue as you're chewing, and, me and my
yeah, I
sister
was
were
a
horrified at the
I was
sensation.
I was about to say, like, with the with octopi, there are a lot of dishes where, like, if basically if they're not, what's the word I'm looking at, taken apart, if they're not like
Mm-hmm.
separated and deep fried, the nervous system still functions even after they're cooked. So
Yeah, this isn't
I'm,
like
I
they
gotta
don't
try.
like move. Like it's not like that because I know there's one where you
Oh,
can like activate them with the soy sauce. It's not that. It's just that they're completely like
yeah.
flow, but the way they move around in your mouth is like them going like this on your tongue. um,
Oh my god, my child would have a heyday with that. I couldn't eat baby octopus because of the eyeballs. Also, there's a crunch. I heard my peers eat them.
I don't
Now
remember there
I
being a
know how
crunch.
smart they are, of course. Oh my gosh, Jinx. It was a sushi place, so I'm not sure the ones I witnessed were cooked. That's
Yeah, I
scary
think those
too.
ones are like prepared, like they're prepared, they're cooked, but then they're served cold. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no. I do like a fry, not a fry, like a grilled octopus. Oh, oh my god, so good. But
I'm willing to try. I've never had it. I'm willing to try it though, especially since I love
it's
calamari. So,
yeah, it's basically just a denser calamari. Um, because yeah, the meat is like almost it can get easily very tough if they don't cook it right, but it has like a really nice like heaviness to it,
there we
like the density. But,
go. All right. We're gonna go into our final sprint.
mhm.
3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hey, we're back.
We're back.
Jessica had to do mom things, but got 367 words this sprint. Nice. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry, I had to burp. I updated my reading chart that I'm using to keep track of all the things I have read this year.
I did math homework.
I kept reading after that. How much more math homework do you have to do?
Mm, it's not that I really have to do it, it's more just I'm doing it as a way to study stuff that I gotta study. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yes.
Oh.
Self-assigned homework without a
Mm
deadline.
hmm. Mm hmm. Well, the test is tomorrow morning, so it's sort of a deadline. But
Fair enough. Fair enough. RP did not get distracted that time and got 460 words. Nice.
nice.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up because
That's fair.
during that sprint I got some gnarly pains through my skull. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to
That
go
sucks.
chill and lay. But thank you all for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
I hope everyone had a good time.
Yeah.
And I will see you when I will see those who participate in Whip Wednesday on Wednesday. So,
Mm-hmm.
good night.